Category 4, debriefing the problem. What was I thinking? My first thought is what's best for Carl and the rest of the students in the classroom. Is Carl receiving all of the services that will help him be successful? And then my next thought, of course, is the other students in the classroom. If Miss Taylor is having to spend the majority of her time interacting with Carl to get his behavior to be positive, then the other kids are losing out on the attention that they need in their learning environment. There needs to be support for the educational staff. Miss Taylor, with implementation of the new IEP and the behavior plan, we already understand that she's resistant to him being in the classroom because of her frustration level. So my hope is with her getting some additional support from the special ed department and the administration that she will be more open to him staying in the classroom with, her having some more coping skills for her to be able to take care of him. And then, I was really thinking about the home support. Children that are neglected at home will come to school and act out. They're wanting attention, whether it's good or bad. If there's not enough food, if their basic needs are not being met, then how do we expect them to learn? So, my concern is what's going on in the class, in the home, and how that is reflecting over into the classroom then. What was I feeling? A lot of concern for Carl and really what's triggering his behavior. Is it just the divorce? Is there other issues going on at home? Is it because his dad's not living in the house anymore? Is it, is he receiving other abuses from his other siblings? We just don't know. And so, I'm really concerned for him. And then, I really understand, and for Miss Green and Miss Taylor, they're both in really tough situation. Miss Green, being a first-year teacher, stepping into a role where there has been an established teacher before and an established program, and she's just wanting to do the very best job that she can do. And then I also feel for Miss Taylor, when you reach that frustration level, it's very hard to move past that. And I realize that both of them are just really wanting to do what's best for their students. Then I really have a concern for Carl and his siblings' home life. What is going on at home that could be then fostering everything that's going on at school. So valuing, what do I value in this situation? Carl's education. That's our business. We're in the business of education. And so Carl has the right to an education. And so we have to be able to provide that to him however we can. And, I believe intellectually he's at a level where he needs to be in the general education classroom with support. And so we just need to do everything we can to help him be successful. You've got to value the mother in this situation. She's gone through a very emotional, traumatic experience through her divorce, it sounds like. And then, she's dealing with 3 children with behavior or emotional issues. That can probably become really overwhelming. And then if she's not receiving any financial support or additional support from her husband, you add that on top. So, I feel like she's probably trying to do the best that she can. We just, need to help support her. And then I do value Miss Taylor. She's going to be the one that's, on the front lines with Carl. She's going to be the one that's interacting with him on a day-to-day basis. She's going to have to get tough. But at the same time, that toughness can't be, I'm fed up and push him out of the room. It has to be, I'm going to be stronger than his behavior, and that she's going to, help him to overcome that behavior and not just reinforce it by ignoring him or pushing him away. So some of the unresolved issues, the stability at home. We can offer assistance and we can contact DCF and we can do all of these things, but in the end, there has to be some motivation from the parents and the children to want to, make some changes in their lives. I think that, there needs to be additional help for Carl. I really don't think that just a modified IEP is going to be enough for him to get him out of the classroom, help him calm down. Um, he's going to have to learn what sets him off and how he can self calm himself. And the mutual respect between the education department and the general education teacher is kind of lacking. You have the general education teacher that just wants the special ed teacher to fix it for them. I don't care what you do, get him out, fix it. And you've got your special ed teacher that is new, overwhelmed, and just wants to get along, wants to do the very best that she can. So I think those are things that are going to be some issues that will need to be addressed moving forward. So reflecting on the academic success for all students, Carl is in the least restrictive environment, I believe, with an amended IEP and BP. And that IEP and behavior plan has been discussed and approved by all stakeholders. So if there was an issue, that's when they needed to have spoken up. Once it's in place, it is up to all of the stakeholders to make sure that it is being followed. And so Carl is receiving the very best education that he can. If Carl has outbursts and he's removed and disciplined per his IEP, this will allow for continued academic success for the other students in the classroom. If Carl's behavior is such that it's taking away from other students in the classroom, then, we're not providing a least restrictive environment for those kids either. So, those students deserve an education where they can come and feel safe and can learn. Ms. Taylor has a clearly defined plan of action now that will allow her to focus on Carl's positive behavior. And I think with her understanding how the negative behavior then will be handled, and she has the steps for success, I think that will be a great addition for her. I think through this, that's going to allow her to spend more time maybe focusing on Carl's positive behavior and not his negative behavior. And then will also allow her to feel more comfortable spending more time with her other students. So the well-being of the students. The revised IEP, with addressing Carl's removal when there is any negative behavior, then allows for him not to be a danger to himself and to other students around him, or even a danger to the teacher. He's being taken to a safe and secure place where he can de-escalate and he can calm down in an environment that is safe and secure for him. And I think that is needed. And, the teacher understanding that she is being heard, that her concerns are being addressed, and that she has the support from the administration and from the special ed department, I think is very important. And then as far as the other kids in the classroom, we can't forget about them and, their well-being. They need to understand that their classroom and their school should be a safe learning environment, and that we take their safety very seriously. And therefore, behaviors such as what Carl is portraying are not acceptable and will not be allowed in the classroom. And it's for the safety of not only himself that he be removed, but for the rest of the kids. So the instructional capacity, how do I feel like that is being upheld? Well, the collaboration and communication that has to occur between all of the support staff that will have any contact with Carl, as well as the special ed department, is very important. They're going to have to be talking as they go along, what's working for Carl, what's not working, what are we noticing about what is best for him, what are his triggers, what have we done that allows him to calm down. And then we need to make sure that we are sticking to the discipline procedures for the district. The school has discipline procedures in place, and just because Carl is a special needs student does not exclude him from those behaviors and those procedures. I think it was a great benefit that his IEP and BP were updated and enacted, meaning that he has some more clearly defined limits, has some clearly defined reactions or actions that he needs to be taking, and then he understands that, when I get out of control, this is what's going to happen, and then what can I do to get back to the classroom. Um, and then started to the process of providing additional support for the family. Um, I really believe in Carl's situation that the support for the family is going to be extremely important to the continuation of Carl's education. When a child feels safe and secure at home, they can come and feel safe and secure at school. But when their needs aren't met at home, as I've said before, then that's what they're looking for in school, and they're not looking for education. So I think by helping on the family side, then we help get that started to be situated. Then Carl becomes a much happier and productive student at school. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.